Hey, what is going on, YouTube? Welcome back, and today we want to do a deeper look, a deeper discussion into the Immortals program. Now, what I've done today is just a little bit of stuff. I got a spreadsheet here. Let's open this guy up. I'm gonna close some other stuff. I got a bunch of stuff open, so I got a spreadsheet, and I'm just going over a couple of the Immortals. I'm not going over all of them. About the actual cost that it takes to get them. I'm not talking about time. Time is its own separate thing. And however you value time over money, that's up to you. That's up to you. But what I want to talk about is, like I said, the actual cost, because there's exchanges that go into things, right? So there's exchanges you have to do for hats and jerseys for each of these. What are we going to call these? Player arcs, I guess, right? And each of those has a cost associated with it, and because they're so kind of limited, really, you're going to really pay, I don't know, between 2,000 and 5,000 stubs maybe total for each of them. So it's not bad. But I'm not including this cost in my final numbers. Additionally, what I am not including cost in my numbers is the exchanges of players. Because, I mean, if you're opening packs, you probably have a lot of these players anyway, and you could do this stuff. And there's really smart ways to do it, and you can really, really take down the cost that you have when doing exchanges, because there's players out there, which are cheap, you know, like if we go look, let's find exchange starting pitchers, right? So we see all these. There's some of these gold pitchers have a value of 7,600 stubs. And their cost is cheap, as opposed to, say, a bronze, right, which is 1,000, but it may be over 100 stubs. So you can do the math and you can figure out the best way to truly do that. But again, I'm not including that cost. I'm not including the cost of exchanging the players in my calculations here at all. So I did not do the calculations for the last few. Ripken, Jones, Seaver, Ryan, Wagner, Gossage. I didn't do those calculations. I don't think you necessarily need all of them, because this gives you a very, very good general idea of how much it costs to exchange hats and jerseys to get an Immortal. Like I said, above everything else, you still have to do this. And some of these guys get real expensive. Like Hanley is super expensive to do. The hat exchange, you need, what is it? 33 hats, 34 hats here. That's 15, 20K stubs right there for Hanley, not including stuff like that. These jerseys, super expensive. You need 40 of these. This is 25K, 20K. So just getting Hanley is going to cost you 40K. But again, I'm not including those for any of these in my calculations. I just want to talk about the cost to actually do the exchange sets of jerseys and hats for these Immortals. Pretty simple. So we're going to start out with Babe. His set's not. It's okay. It's okay. But the problem is now, Yankees are getting expensive. Red Sox stuff is expensive, and the Brave stuff is actually shooting up now, whether it's for him or for Chipper or whatnot, right? So you need a lot of hats. You need 167 bronze hats, or 150 silver jerseys, or if you're including diamonds and golds in there, however you want to do it, you can do that as well. Now, the math does change based on how the price you can buy on the market, right? It 100% does. This is not a concrete number. This number can fluctuate at any time. But the cost I calculated for Babe Ruth is right around 130,000 stubs to complete these two missions. 130,000 stubs. That's a lot of stubs. It's $100 for these two, right? It's a lot. Now, Jackie is stupid, because he's only Dodgers. And God willing, but honestly, to do just these two sets for Jackie, you're looking at around 150, 160,000 stubs. That's a lot of stubs. That's another $100, right? It's another $100. Now you can with Jackie, you can actually avoid doing one of these whenever this mission drops. So that's kind of nice. You can actually cut your price in half. So technically, because of this, Jackie is the cheapest if you do it that way, right? Piazza's not bad. He's the cheapest one because his exchanges. He played for 6 teams: Dodgers, Marlins, Mets, A's, Padres. So 5 teams. There's 2 A's hats, and the Padres hats are cheap, right? And the A's hats aren't too bad. The Mets hats aren't too bad. The Dodgers and Marlins are obviously super expensive because they're used in a lot of other places. So the volume and the quantity that are available on the market just doesn't exist. And Piazza's price came in right around 75 to 90,000 stubs. Not too bad. Not too bad at all, honestly. Mr. Pujols. He's got a couple teams. He's got the Angels, which are cheap as well. And calculating him out, he is also around that 90 to 100,000 stub mark, give or take somewhere in there. So if that's all you had to pay, that's pretty good, but it's not. Now, Griffey is actually not that bad to do. He's actually not that bad to do, despite the fact that we know that he has Mariners, which are expensive, and Reds, which are expensive, but the White Sox aren't really that expensive yet. It's probably going to change. Like, you can see it if you watch the market, that the market is indeed changing. Slowly, but surely the market's changing. And to do Griffey's around 80,000 to 100,000 stubs. Again, just for this. And the last one, Bob Gibson, he's tough because he's got one team. And his is like 90,000-ish. But again, Cardinals are going to go up at a certain point. And the reason why these things are so expensive, it is not a rarity issue at all. Because if you pull packs, you will pull all these items, right? You pull them. You pull them pretty consistently. The problem is that you need so many of these, and everyone else needs so many of them, that it just bleeds the market dry, right? That's what happens. So if we go look at, see, like Reds hats, right? There's a good number on the market, right? There is. But the problem is the supply does not meet the demand for these items. I don't know if MLB had intentionally wanted the cost of these sets to be so expensive. I don't know. And it's really expensive because, like I said, I'm just including just that part. You can always add in another 20, 30K for the lower missions. You can also add in, honestly, probably 20K-ish in players for exchanges. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. Just depends how frugal you are and how good you are at actually, acquiring items within the game. And then we have, of course, the mission that it doesn't exist for all these cards. We got to imagine that's going to cost stubs as well. So, like, if you look at, like, the totality for, like, to do Babe Ruth, I mean, you're talking 160,000 stubs, 170,000 stubs plus this program. Which is, I mean, he's the best card in the game, which is a fair price. When you look at someone like Mike Trout or Bryce Harper, right? Super expensive. But again, you can't sell this card. It's pretty sure you can't sell it, right? That's a lot of stubs to get stuck with something. A lot of time. The time is the missing factor a lot of people don't have calculated. That you spend so much time doing these missions, you forget, time is money. Time is money. It really is. If you consider your time worth $5 an hour, right? After, 20 hours, that's 150,000 stubs. Probably takes you close to 20 hours grinding through one of these all the way through, right? Maybe. And now you're getting other stuff done, so you're multitasking, so the cost, you could adjust the cost there. But I think with time, these are taking up 50 to 60,000 stubs of your time each, probably, in my opinion. But again, you get a really good card. You get probably what I assume is going to be the best card in the game at that position throughout the year. For maybe a total technical cost of 250,000 stubs. That's pretty good, really. But the problem is you want all of them. Everyone wants all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we'll say if it's 200,000 stubs, right? Times 12 is 2.4 million stubs. That's a lot of stubs. The cost of that would be, what was it, $1,600, give or take? Now, does the 2.4 million stubs gonna get you Vlad? Probably not. But you're becoming pretty close, and you don't have to play the games. You've got a pretty good team too. So it just depends. I'm not going after all of them. It's not worth it to me. Plus, when I play MLB, I don't always want just the best cards in the game. I want cards I like. Like I really want that Troy Tulowitzki, but I know he's pretty much out of my price range. And whenever a Jose Reyes comes out, if there's a better Hanley Ramirez, I definitely want it. I know I've talked to other people who they have like their favorite cards, and I've talked to people who have their favorite card is Jackie Robinson, right? And his cost is just astronomical. So before you guys go in any further, just understand the cost involved here. It's not a grind. The best cards in the game aren't free. The best cards in the game still cost you a lot. So make an informed decision before you start exchanging all this stuff and you know exactly what you're getting. Because all these other cards you get below them, they're not going to be usable once you get the Immortals, right? So just be smart. That's all I ask. And hopefully this catches a lot of you before you went into this, and maybe now you know. Maybe you've already put so much into it and you're like, I can't finish this set. I don't have the stubs. How am I going to get the stubs? It's tough. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this. Hopefully this helps a little bit. If it does, if it helps just 5 people make the correct decision, then it's totally worth it. So hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'm out. Peace.